Chapter 1. The soul is the true center of our being. It holds more power than we know. The soul means a lot of different things to different people, depending on how they understand it. The soul, by definition, is that incorporeal essence contained within an individual. It is that intangible but animating principle of an individual life. Simply put, the soul is the most genuine part of the individual. What makes them who they are? Minus the physical appearance, speech, or tangible qualities they possess, the soul holds the person's most authentic representation. Our being contains the soul. It is our purest form, the true immortal identity. Zukav believes the soul is the truest vehicle for evolution, arguing that any other kind of evolution was temporal and perishable. The soul, he believes, is the culmination of each lifetime we have experienced. It acts as a diary, detailing any and every experience we encounter. While this might seem confusing, it is pretty simple. The soul is immortal and cannot die. It is energy and can only get transferred. This statement means the soul never changes. If the body dies, the soul comes back in another physical form. The soul is pure energy and is always whole in each lifetime, changing only a bit from the previous life's experience. We must then investigate what this means for the body and what role the soul plays. Zukav reveals that our existence isn't limited to one lifetime, that we possess the ability to live countless lives in an endless cycle of reincarnation. This process leaves the body behind, but the soul persists whole. We do not live one limited life. The soul is capable of multiple reincarnations. Death is only a door to another life. This statement means that if we could tap into the soul, it would be possible to benefit from the vast wealth of knowledge and understanding it must have gotten from the many iterations it has gone through. The soul is the one path to empowerment, and to fully unlock this power, we must first become fully attuned to it. This centering is done with meditation and mindfulness to help center and calm the mind to focus only on the connection with the soul. In the following chapters, we shall learn that the soul is the truest interaction with life, and we are meant to utilize living as an opportunity to learn and grow. The soul evolves through experience, and we must be open to whatever changes this comes with, no matter how scary it might be. Chapter 2. Change is an integral part of our quest for ultimate empowerment. The living things on planet Earth are a product of millions of years of evolution, and even today, they continue to experience the ever-present effects of it. Much of our knowledge in the tenets of how living beings evolved is quite limited. However, we only know the physical aspects, the mass transfer from generation to generation, the passing down of physical traits, and adaptational upgrades. All beings have had to go through some change. It is a vital part of their continued existence. Evolution, however, possesses deeper meaning beyond the physical. To Zukav, evolution is the constant improvement of complexities from organism to organism. He says that each organism is more complex and thus more evolved than the other, which shows a sort of hierarchy among living things that sees humanity sitting at the zenith. The success of physical evolution made it possible for most organisms to adapt to the ever-changing environment. By Zukav's definition, the human race is the most evolved, and as a result, we possess one thing no other living being has: a soul. The soul is a very crucial part of an individual. It is the core. Zukav posits a different meaning to evolution, that of the soul, where we have true strength. By his definition, the goal of change is to acquire ultimate empowerment, which is the purpose of our existence. Much of evolution's theory is on the physical changes, but Zukav believes the soul should be the focus. The source of true empowerment is in the soul, and this power cannot be inherited through physical evolution or bought. It cannot be hoarded either. Zukav believes that this form of development is the purest as it does not adopt the survival of the fittest mantra of physical evolution. In this evolution of the soul, the power acquired gets used to spread love and not oppress. Zukav insists that a truly powerful person will not enslave but empower others. To experience this form of evolution, you must look within, assessing yourself honestly and without bias. Dig deep into your core, identify your strengths and weaknesses, and find things to improve constantly. Did you know Zukav's next book, The Seat of the Soul, published in 1989, was a #1 New York Times bestseller for 31 weeks and remained on the list for 3 years? Chapter 3. Our participation in life isn't limited to one lifetime. It is continuous through karma. Zukav insists that many people do not get adequately informed on the true complexities of the concept of life. We believe that life starts when we are born and ends when we die. But life is energy, and energy is perpetual, undying, and dynamic, which means that we begin another journey in death. This fact is the point of karma. After death, we are reborn, armed with the lessons of the former life. Karma is a word that loosely translates to action, work, or deed. In most religions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, karma is the spiritual principle of cause and effect. The concept dictates that an individual's actions, cause, influence their future actions or consequences, outcome. In this concept, the quality of the deed determines that of the result. Our actions and inactions will resonate in our next lives, either rewarding or punishing us, deepening on the kind of deeds. We often believe that our participation in life ends when we die because we subscribe to a linear physical existence. The physical body cannot be reborn. It is dust and food for the earth to recycle. Zukav emphasizes the reoccurring soul and how it ties in with karma. We are bound to influence our many lives with the actions we carry out in the previous ones. The soul is pure, undying energy, our store of the various experiences from previous lifetimes. It holds our true identity. By implication, the soul is immortal. It collects the memories and experiences from each lifetime. The soul's ability makes sure that we participate fully in the reaction as we play a role in the action. This statement explains why the soul can evolve, learn from the past, and do better, so that the next life is better. One thing is sure, a person that is engaging in violence is hurting deeply, because a healthy and balanced soul is incapable of harming another. Gary Zukav. Chapter 4. The journey to true spirituality is paved with mindfulness and meditation. Knowing that the soul is more complex than we previously understood it to be, we must take better care of what goes in and out. The soul interacts with the physical plane through the mind, which means the mind and the soul. If you seek to purge your soul of filth and evil thoughts, you must first do this in your mind. The soul holds a store of past experiences from previous lives. It can help avoid repeating past errors. One surefire way to achieve a precise and pure mind is through meditation. Meditation is the only time the mind and the soul truly synchronize, connecting our earthly minds with the otherworldly, immortal soul. Meditation is the practice of making the mind still and amplifying its ability to focus through intentional and quiet concentration. Meditation is a trusted gateway between the mind and the soul, giving the individual access to a state of reverence. The aim of clearing the mind and in turn purifying the soul is to ascend to a state of reverence. Zukav says that to become reverent is to begin a journey to true spirituality. A spiritual person is in complete control of the thoughts that get into their mind and knows how to apply them. Therefore, reverence is a pivotal part of the soul's evolution, bringing the individual ever closer to accurate synchronization with the soul. With meditation, one can channel the energies of the countless lifetimes the soul has stored up. The soul holds power beyond our wildest imagination, but a noisy and distracted mind cannot tap into it. This reality is why we need to meditate, declutter the mind of the useless noise, and help it focus on the essential details. Unlocking and understanding the soul is the right path to attaining true spirituality. Reverence seeks to transcend one into a truly spiritual state through mindfulness. One vital part of meditation is the role of paying attention. It is not enough to open the mind. We must also pay attention to the details we derive from it. For example, it would be helpful to identify the thoughts that pass through the mind, negative and positive. An attentive mind will achieve spiritual awakening fast. When the personality comes fully to serve the energy of its soul, that is authentic empowerment. Gary Zukav. Chapter 5. We can find the purest form of logic and understanding in the heart. Much of the decision-making power lies in the mind, the brain. The reason is where logic resides, aided by memories of failures or success that inform a readiness or hesitation to act. We believe that this is the sanest and wisest way to handle the daily business of living, and it might be right. But there is a higher form of logic that resides not in the mind, but also in the heart. Our brain holds great potential for change, if we can understand the mind and gain mastery of it. Zukav insists that the most extraordinary form of logic and understanding that perfectly reflects the soul comes from the heart. The heart is compassionate, emotional, and intense. These attributes are why we often advise against listening to the heart because they're unpredictable and leave us vulnerable. The heart holds the potential for a more significant source of logic and understanding. For a wholesome experience, however, you must live an intentional life. One where you are always careful about the motivations behind your actions and inactions. We would consider cause and effect with the mind's logic, expecting a reward for an activity. But with the heart, it often acts solely based on the intention behind the action, and nothing else. It is essential to consistently identify and query the intentions behind our actions to help us make better decisions. This choice to act based on intention makes the heart the purest form of representation of the soul, being that the soul craves to evolve through good deeds. Through compassion and understanding, the heart gets bound to influence positive, selfless actions based only on intention to do good. When we do good, we feed our soul with positive energy and aid a happier rebirth in the next life. This statement does not mean the heart is all good. It can be capable of evil, so intentions are essential. Before you do any good, be sure to query your heart for the intention. Is it for the ultimate good? Is it for selfish reasons? The heart always knows the answer, and when it does, so do you. This quality acts as a check against working for selfish or sinister purposes. Did you know? Aristotle defined the soul or psyche as the first actuality of a naturally organized body, but argued against its having a separate existence from the physical body. For Aristotle, the soul is the form of a living creature. Chapter 6. We must take our existence seriously and act accordingly. We might live a physical life, but our actual existence goes far beyond the confines of the material mortal world. The soul exists outside of time, and does not obey the laws of nature that cause beings to age and expire. By this, we cannot live incomplete lives. We must experience the entirety of our existence beyond the physical. The human experience is only partially physical. Much of our life energy is spiritual and immortal. Knowing that the soul governs much of what we do today, and only exists to reward or punish us based on our past choices in a new life, it is essential to live more intentionally. Everything is necessary and nothing is important. While this is confusing, it is pretty simple. Our true nature is unaffected by time, wear and tear, or change. So nothing we do with our physical body will matter in the next life. So nothing is essential. We must be careful not to hold on to unimportant distractions in this life, and thus jeopardize the next one or next ones. This mindset helps curtail the hunger for worldly possessions, and helps center the mind to transcendence through reincarnation. On the flip side, our actions in this lifetime will ripple onto the next ones, informing what consequences we will bear in it. As such, we must act in the interest of our future selves, doing intentional and good deeds so that our karma is kind and rewarding. The alternative would be unpleasant. The reward of a mindful and disciplined mind is the karma of a happy rebirth. Live right today for a greater tomorrow. If we can affect the future with our actions in the present, we can say everything is necessary. The trick is to find a balance and toe that fine line unfailingly until its end. We can employ the most trusted channel between our body, mind, and our soul to achieve this balance: meditation. Meditation is a surefire way to make sure we can differentiate between the essential deeds that will affect our future and the unimportant worries of our mortal existence. Vanity, amongst other things, is a luxury we cannot carry to the next life. It is vital to identify these things and eliminate them. We must then ensure that nurturing essential items such as mindfulness, compassion, and kindness is also of utmost importance. Conclusion. We have limited knowledge and insight on just how complex life is. We roam the earth ignorantly, and before we know it, we exit. But now and then, curiosity prevails, and we ask the age-old question: what is the meaning of life? The answer often meets with silence. Until today, Gary Zukav offers insight into the soul and just how important it is to life's mystery. We discover that the soul is much older than we previously thought, and life doesn't start when we are born or end when we die. It is, in fact, a continuous stream, and this stream exists outside the physical plane, outside of time. We exist in the physical, but our flesh is only an avatar for our souls to walk in this particular point in time. We constantly evolve and transcend towards a reincarnation, aided by our actions and inactions. Much of what we do or experience today will come back full circle in another lifetime. This concept is called karma. The soul acts as a custodian of our karma, storing each one from each lifetime and manifesting the rewards for good deeds and punishments for evil deeds. This statement means that we must take better care of the soul, as it has a huge responsibility. We can ensure the soul is healthy and focused on positives through meditation and mindfulness. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You receive from the world what you give to the world. Gary Zukav. Try this. Commit yourself to do better intentionally. Show kindness to others. Be compassionate and loving. Here are 3 ways we can show love and compassion to others. Smile and make someone's day a little sweeter. Help clean up without being asked. Help someone out in a practical way. Offer a genuine compliment.